Welcome to 6,000 Years of History podcast, episode 2. I am your host, Sebatian, and my co-host with me today is Matthew. So introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody.
Now today we're gonna speak about a bunch of stuff. I would think the channel is definitely a good thing to open with. So we started the channel. We currently have 2 videos out already, on top of our introduction video, as well as another video which is going to be released within the next 30 minutes or so. That was be made by the 3rd member of our party, Baron. And it's about, what is it about? Do you know?
It's
the events.
If I remember correctly, it's about the events leading up to the First World War.
Yes, right. Excellent. Good that you can remember that, because I can't.
I think it's that. I'm not sure myself.
It's fine. It's fine. We don't know our own content that we're pushing out of here. And we're going to speak about a little interesting other stuff So, the one thing I find about, our channel, right, is...
Yeah.
It's there aren't a lot of, history channels out there. There are a few, but very big ones only. There aren't exactly small ones like ours. At least there probably are, but, it's possible to...
Probably are, but they're that small that we don't know about them. A bit like ours in our situation right
being
now.
Impossible to find on the internet and stuff like that. But the thing is, what I like about our channel is we're kind of doing what we want with it. We all have our own projects and stuff. We tell, okay, we want to do on this. It's cool, so no one else does a project on that. They make a video, and we have a schedule. So after this podcast goes out, it will be my turn to go over the next week, Friday. After that, it will be you again, and then Matthew,
and then it'll be mine after that, and then Baron's after that.
So that's the schedule. So it's me. So every 4 weeks, I'm the beginning of the month. Matthew's middle, and then it's Baron towards the middle, and then the podcast at the end. Baron might join us for some of the podcasts, but possibly not all of them. We don't know yet.
Yeah, time zones
that's a bit of an issue.
Can be a bit of a problem. Yeah. If people didn't already haven't figured out, I'm live in the UK. Sebatian lives in South Africa, so that's 2 hours ahead in winter. And then Baron lives in Australia, so that's a few hours.
What time would it be for him at the moment? Let's have a.
I literally have no clue. I'd have to find that out.
A very early morning for him.
Yeah, it'll probably be early morning for him.
5 o'clock in the morning, I would say, is a good guess. It's a very good guess. Probably completely false though, but I think it's a good guess. Yeah. So, oh shit.
So yeah.
I just accidentally started playing a video. Oh well.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened. I don't know if people can hear that. There's a possibility that people heard.
We've got some topics to talk about.
Yeah, we do. I just want to speak about the channel. So of the 2 videos, technically it's 3 videos, 4 after this podcast has ended, maybe even during it, depends on how long it goes. Which video do you think is the best at the moment? Who do you think made the best video?
I don't think it's me.
You don't.
I don't.
Well,
but then again, I'm that sort of guy
who. It's me or you.
I'm that sort of person who likes other people's videos, but when it comes to his videos, he thinks they're all bad.
I think everyone's a bit like that, though.
Yeah, probably are.
If we break it down, our very first video, Welcome to 6,000 Years of History, has 72 views currently. That's our most viewed video. Then you have my first project that I posted, Russian Revolution Part 2, coming soon, by the way. Has the second most views, but has the most likes. And then yours is it's only been a week, as of today of recording, since so it's kind of early to tell of how well it's going to do. And then...
Yeah, mine's a bit early to do, but it's more of a niche area of my video. It's about ancient Egyptian mummification. And compared to the Russian Revolution, it won't be as popular.
Yeah, I know, because, for example, the Russian Revolution, at least I had to.
The Russian Revolution happened quite recently, if you think about it, and it also is quite big in histories.
And, like, for example, the Russian Revolution, I had to learn at school. I've forgotten a lot of things about it, so that video is not quite where I wanted to be information-wise. Where I wanted it to be information-wise. But then again, I can't mention everything about it, otherwise it'd be like a 6-hour-long video, and it's impossible, especially on my university time schedule, to get that amount of information that quickly. But you know, I'm managing. That's
a good thing.
Part 2 is almost done. Yeah. But
yeah, so your next project is going to be still focusing on the many Russian revolutions.
That's until the important
Baron's focus is going to be on the lead up to World War One.
I think it's going to be
I've got 2 focuses actually. The first one being like character, like the life and times I'm thinking of certain people who lived many years ago, and along with that, I'm hoping to also do the 100 Years War.
Yes, the 100 years that.
So I'm the only one who's got a new project in a way, and 2 new projects like that.
Personally, I think the 100 Years War is a fantastic idea. I think that's, considering you're from the United Kingdom, which England took part in the 100 Years War, but with France, I believe. I'm not. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It quite suits you quite well. Maybe I should make a video about the Anglo-Zulu War, which concerns you and me. Yeah, we could speak. We could. There's a lot I could do about that.
Really know. They probably taught you more about you, more about it for you in school than it. Did with me.
The reason why you guys don't speak about it is because it was a real embarrassing war for you guys, considering you guys lost the very first battle that was fought. The British lost to the Zulus, who were. It was like a thing where this very mighty world power, no one could stand up to them, were defeated by people with mostly short spears and cowhide shields. That is quite embarrassing.
Yeah, but there's also defence in that. In my mind,
the British did win that war.
In my mind, wouldn't you be a bit scared? Wouldn't you be scared if you saw some guy hardly dressed with a shield and spear throwing spears at you, running up to you with a battle cry? Wouldn't that scare you?
The Zulus didn't throw spears; they had short spears, so they stabbed with them. So they had to run up towards you.
Okay. Well, charging up towards you with a spear, then. I think it got everyone by surprise because it just wasn't like any other battle that they'd earned the Redcoats had ever done.
To get into a bit of history with that, though, what happened was it was a very good plan by the Zulus. You have to give them credit for that. You have to, seriously, because the British camped by a mountain at the base of a mountain called Isenduwala. It's a tourist attraction, and in a place called Battlefield Memorial Park. And the reason why is in that particular area you have something like 16 different battles that took place in South Africa in that area for some reason. They took around in that area, so you got Ruek's Drift, which happened the same day as Isenduwala, just after the battle, when the 5 or 6 British soldiers that survived the battle retreated to an outpost where the British were using as a supply route, and they had sick and wounded there already. And they knew that they would never be able to outrun the Zulus, so they had to stand there and fight, which led to one of the most heroic last stands in history, and the Battle of Ruek's Drift, where something like 4,000 Zulus attacked 50 or so British soldiers, and like something, not a single British soldier died, but I think like a few died, a couple died, and a few were injured, and like I think something like 4 Victoria Crosses were handed out at that.
Yeah.
And that it was very heroic. But it's also a very interesting story for overconfidence. The British walked into the kingdom of the Zulus, their territory, believing it was going to be like every other colonial war in history, right? And so they were really overconfident, and they lost. They lost so badly. The Zulus didn't even use their 4,000 reserve troops. And it was those reserve troops who never got to fight in the battle, obviously in Douala, which drove the British out of the country for the time being, which was really embarrassing. I'll get to that in a second of what happened afterwards. That they were so frustrated because they never got to fight in the battle that they decided to go just outside their territory, which the king of the Zulus specifically instructed his soldiers not to do, because it then gave the British a reason to send a lot of troops there. They left just outside their territory. There was a place called Rorke's Drift, right? That is, these 4,000 reserve troops, which didn't participate at the previous battle, attacked it, and by some miracle, the 50 or so British soldiers that were at the outpost survived, and they lived to fight another day, which is amazing. And it's kind of the overconfidence of the Zulus of the previous battle that caused their defeat, and was the overconfidence of the British in the first battle that caused their defeat. If you know, it's like a overconfidence kind of story.
Yeah, overconfidence isn't something. It's something to be really feared.
Yeah, it's really, and it's a really beautiful story. I love it a lot. There's a movie called Zulu. That was made about in like the 1960s, I believe. It was
I think I've heard of that movie.
It's
yeah,
pretty famous.
There's also I also know of a few video games focusing on battles between Zulus and the Brits.
Ah, yes.
There's one of them that's like just literally just like Mountain Blade Warband. If
with a mod,
something you might have heard that
with the Zulu mod on it. All right. For the Napoleon
it's
DLC,
just
the
like
Napoleon
that,
DLC,
but
I think.
probably a bit better than better than a mod, I would say.
What happened after that was, when word reached back in Britain like a week later, the public was outraged. The British name was slandered all across the world because they were the first major world power to lose to a inferior fighting force. The Battle of Rorke's Drift at the time was not as publicized because it was, even though despite it being heroic, at the time of that, only after the war it became a really famous battle. During that time, people more focused on the loss and not the victory at Rorke's Drift, right? However, when the British started to publish what happened at Rorke's Drift, it gave them a reason to go back and send like the entire British army to the kingdom of the Zulus to destroy them, because the Zulus attacked them. You see how that works.
Yeah.
Even despite the British attacking them first, they attacked the British. So they were able to turn public support for the war against the Zulus through some very clever propaganda. And Queen Victoria sent a lot of troops there, and the result was that the Zulus were destroyed about a month or two later, after the troops arrived in Zululand, about a year later. A very, very important battle in South Africa's history right there, because if that war never took place, you might find that the kingdom of the Zulus might be an independent country today. If the British never took them over. It's quite interesting, and I advise everyone to go and read about that particular battle. There's also a bunch of other battles. South Africa's got a lot of amazing history, in my opinion. A lot of amazing history to read about. The battles that were fought here. What exactly happened here is so cool. And not that every country doesn't have that. I just think South Africa in particular has some very interesting battles. It's like a very weird time where you have primitive nations, let's call them that fighting against these superior nations, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think most colonial nations are like that, aren't they? Like that, you have a big powerhouse coming out of nowhere to the New World or Africa, and trying to conquer as much as they can for their nation. And most times or not, than not, it's these primitive bands or tribes or whatever are fighting for their lives, and it's very, really interesting to read about it.
Fighting for their lives. I mean, what they're fighting for is their independence and their freedom, their right to be ruled by their own ruler of their own culture. It's like a similar thing that Savage still has issues that, like, this is why Africa's in a state that it is, to get into that. When colonialism ended and all the African countries began to become independent, you find a lot of the time the borders that were drawn for the new African countries put a lot of different cultural groups together. The Congo is something like 13.
Yes,
the Congo itself, the Democratic Republic of the Congo today, is something like 13,000 individual cultural groups that live there. And when you have that, you have issues, because, for example, would you rather be ruled by a Frenchman that spoke French, that spoke French, or would you rather be ruled by a Brit?
You would want to be ruled by
it's the same thing. What happened
nature.
to these nations? Why the Congo is 5 days after independence basically broke out into a civil war 5 days after their independence from Belgium, because different cultural groups wanted their ruler in power that they voted for in their first and only democratic election, and others wanted theirs. And that's an issue that continues to this day, although there was a brief period of unity in the Congo under a dictator who was the only man ever to bring true peace to the Congo since the Belgians left, and that's, despite him being a dictator, quite an achievement. But he's dead now, Mobutu Sese Seko. Google him. And it's very, very similar. The only country that has never had, and even South Africa has issues with this. I mean, we have the Zulus, we have the Xhosa, who are bitter enemies. You also have the Ndebele, you have the northern Sotho, you have the southern Sotho, you have Swazi living here, you have Sothos living here, you have the Khoisan living here, you have the San, you have the Khoi, you have there's a lot of different cultural groups. And so South Africa is one of the only nations in Africa that has all these hundreds of different cultural groups living together that has not broken out into a civil war. And South Africa became very close to in like the early 90s. Very close. With the end of apartheid and stuff like that. It was very close. And I don't really know what South Africa would be like today if that happened. But history's so amazing, isn't it? You just think about all these different factors and how they work together, and how unique a country can be, like South Africa, who is narrowly avoided a civil war, that came so close to doing so. If one side just said no, South Africa would be a totally different place today. I might not be around. Who knows what might have happened? And
you might have migrated.
I might never have been born.
Fled.
You never know.
You might have fled to someone like Britain as well.
Maybe. A lot of South Africans have done that, actually, which is something I'm very bitter about, so I don't like it. So, to change the topic slightly, there are a couple of games that recently got released. The first one I'm going to talk about is Genital Jousting.
This game.
Yeah, that game. That game, it was released on Steam recently, I believe. If I'm correct.
It was in. If I remember correctly, it was in early access.
On Steam, and now it's out. Let me Google it.
It was in early access for a year or two, and now they've fully released it sometime.
You can pick it up for
early January.
Approximately, in my currency at least, 58 rand, which is.
I'll search how much that is in my currency.
See how much that is in pound.
It is £5.19.
Let's not do the dollar.
In British pound sterling.
So it's quite an achievement for a game like that. You'd never really expect a game with the name of Genital Jousting to get greenlit on Steam firstly. Secondly, have such a cult following to it, but frankly, because it's so the reason why its cult following comes from, my opinion, is it's just so absurd, isn't it? It's a very unique game right there.
Yeah. I think that's also how it was greenlit and all that as well.
But, you know, it's an amazing game. There's a lot of you can do in it. Go pick it up. Play it. We're not sponsored. Please sponsor us. Free lives. And, we need the money. Just kidding. That's just a joke. That's General Jousting. There's also another game which I am very interested in, and I've played a bunch of this game while I was in early access. I haven't managed to play it since it got released because I've been busy. But that game is Pit People. This game, you know who made it, right?
Was it the same people who made Castle Crashers?
Yes, it was. As well as Battle Block Theatre, the same people made that. Megan Behemoth, I believe they're called, or something like that.
The Behemoth, yeah. I've just searched it now.
The Behemoth Game Studio, and it's another hit, really. All three of the games they produced have been hits now, which says something about they're pretty good at that, aren't they?
Yeah, because all three, they've got the soft following. Yes. They haven't got many bad reviews, if none at all. Recent reviews on Steam are very positive, which is 98 reviews, and out of all reviews, it's overwhelmingly positive, which is 3,901 reviews. So they get around with the good games. I'll just search. Balbot Theatre has had 30,000 reviews, and they're all overwhelmingly positive. And Castle Crashers has also had 32,000 reviews, all overwhelmingly positive.
Not bad. I think there's only 6 people that work in the company, so not bad for the 6 of them, whoever they are.
Yeah.
They'll sponsor us. Just put down a pen. I don't know. I always whenever I hear that Behemoth Games or the Behemoth Studio, I don't know what the name of the company is, are releasing a new game, I get excited to play it. Weirdly. I mean, when Castle Crashers came out, that was a good game. I had that on my old Steam account. I don't have my new one. And then Battle Block Theatre 2 came out, and that was amazing. I loved that one a lot.
I have Battle Block Theatre on my Xbox, but I've never actually played it because it's more of a multiplayer game. I had no one to know how to play it.
I would definitely play it. It's an amazing game.
Yeah.
I mean, their story telling is relatively simple. It's not a very complex story. Can I spoil the game, the storyline in Battle Block Theatre for you?
I wouldn't spoil it, not just for me, but just for the audience if they've never played it.
I mean, it's not very important. It's just.
But if you think about it, the games are well priced as well.
I mean,
they're not
what they are.
They're not one of those games that you pay £30 for a few features. It's for me, the Pit People is £11, and by the looks of it, you get a lot of items, and it's even in early access. They'll be adding more items.
Early access now. That was the point of me mentioning it. Yeah.
Oh, is it? It says early access on here.
I guess they haven't updated it yet, but it was fully released somewhere in January.
Ah.
Yeah. There's I think it's also multiplayer, so I think if you get the game at some point, you could give it a go. It's when I've got a bit of a free schedule.
Yeah.
Give it a bit of a go.
That's what we've been planning. We've been planning on...
Don't tell them our secrets.
Well,
don't.
We're thinking of...
We're very ambitious on YouTube. Like, we really want to make a career out of this. Like, it would be really nice just to have a career out of this. We love history. We love video games, and we're really good friends.
Streaming, aren't we?
Yeah, we're also
streaming games.
Streaming games. I for one am not against streaming on the history channel, on our history channel, because, frankly, and if you agree with me, you can comment down below, and I'll read them and I'll reply to you and stuff. I think if you want to build a channel, you got to build it around a certain community. If you build a channel around, like, this is a problem with all the Minecraft YouTubers that got so popular with Minecraft, and now Minecraft's not as popular as what it once was, due to, like, YouTube changing the algorithm, and YouTube changing the algorithm and stuff to not make Minecraft based channels show up as much anymore. They have a lot of their videos their videos these days don't get a lot of views, and that's really sad to see, because you see our favorite YouTubers are the Yogscast, right? I love them, Lewis and Simon and the rest. Hi guys, if you hear this, they will never hear this. It would be amazing if they did.
It would be, yeah. I'm a big fan of them as well, for anyone who wanted to know.
Yeah, everyone except Baron isn't, though, but we love them. And it's really sad to see them in the state that they are, and they still make fantastic videos, in my opinion. All the videos that they're making currently are great. I wish they would do. There is one thing I wish they would do. I wish they would stop playing GTA and Trouble in Terrorist Town and Colony Survival so much, and start doing a more multitude of games. You know, maybe once a week of GTA 5 and another once a week of Garry's Mod. Because right now, because they're not making as much money as getting as much views anymore, they're playing it safe to keep their income coming in, right? You can see that.
Yeah.
So you've got a set schedule. So you have the schedule is Gmod, GTA, Colony Survival, except for a brief period where the beta for Sea of Thieves, which is another game we can talk about, was open. They blend Gmod, GTA, Sea of Thieves, and now they're back to the Colony Survival stuff, which all is fantastic. They and you know, it's just what happened to them? Really, they're still so good, and now no one watches their videos anymore. I mean, the latest video has currently, according to my statistics, 219,000 views. Compared to what they used to get, that's absolutely nothing.
It's a lot if you think about it. It's still got a solid audience.
Also, their community
with their 7 million subscribers, you would think they should be getting at least 1 million per
I've noticed
year.
They're losing a lot of subscribers, which is also really sad to see, considering I love them so much. I want the best for them, because I'll support them through thick and thin. Everything is, and you know they're struggling right now. A lot of YouTube channels are struggling with the adpocalypse thing.
They have been screwed over by YouTube, not just by the apocalypse.
Everyone's been screwed over by YouTube
at
some point.
But they also screwed over by YouTube because all their videos were getting so popular.
The algorithm.
The whole watch screen, the whole homepage of YouTube was all Yogscast videos at one point. So much so that YouTube decided to remove them from their recommended video list or whatever it is.
Unless you're watching
and so they can never get on the
Yogscast video
page.
Unless you're watching a Yogscast video, you will never find a Yogscast video as on the recommended viewers page, unless you're subscribed to them and stuff like that. That's the only time. But if you're watching a video by Jacksepticeye, for example, and you're not subscribed to the Yogscast, you'll never find their videos in the recommended list. And you know that's quite stupid, because YouTube, right?
It's quite stupid.
Their goal is to make money. And
YouTube would get money. They would get money through it.
They've done this.
through allowing them.
They've done this with a lot of their YouTubes. They did it with Stampy, who is now the largest gaming channel in the United Kingdom. Congratulations to him. The Yogscast were before him, and now he's overtaken them, and now they've written them off because what happened to the Yogscast was happening to the Yogscast was happening to Stampy, and they've written him off. And they've done it to PewDiePie, who PewDiePie will probably forever be the world's largest YouTuber, and he will probably forever be the face of YouTube. And I think YouTube, they don't really know what they're doing. There hasn't really been a company like this before. I think it's definitely a new thing, don't you think, relatively speaking? There's never been a company that manages videos on demand on the internet available for free. I mean, now you have Netflix, right? And a few other ones, like I think you guys have Sky in the United Kingdom, and here in South Africa we have a local one called Showmax. And we also have Netflix, and so you guys have it there. Netflix is certainly the largest one out of all of them. These are all videos on demand, but YouTube's different to them in a way because it's publicly based. It's not companies that make them, or the companies themselves that make them and support them and get actors and film them. YouTube, it's like people like us, just random Joes, you and me, just make videos and upload them to YouTube. It's very unique, and I believe there's no real way to manage it, and I think that's why YouTube is making all these stupid decisions. But a quick fix for you, YouTube, if you ever listen to this. What's the YouTube CEO? What's her name? Whatever her name is. I would say hold like a meeting with some of like the largest YouTubers. Invite PewDiePie, invite the Yogscast, invite Smosh, invite, oh god, I have to say his name, Logan Paul, because he is one of the world's largest YouTubers now. Invite Jake Paul, invite Jacksepticeye, invite Markiplier, and don't just invite the gaming channels and the vlog channels like I've just listed now. Invite the news channels, invite the top 10 channels like Matthew Santoro and Watch Mojo. Invite invite some of the world's largest YouTubers, right? And they
just the largest YouTubers doesn't matter.
Genre. Invite at least one from every genre. The largest YouTuber from every genre.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to pay for their accommodations and stuff. Maybe if they can't afford it, like, because some of the well-known genres, you don't get very large YouTubers in them. You just don't. But they're still a big genre. Invite them and have like a meeting with them and ask them what they want. Do it privately. Don't do it publicly. They will tell you what they want and how to run the business. Because if you want to make this business, YouTube, successful, you have to, and since it's content creator based, listen to your content creators. That's simple logic, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes they really don't do that, do they?
They ever do it. They only do it when media.
They only do it when there is a very big uproar.
To move on to another topic, Logan Paul. Logan Paul. That's all I need to say. You know what happened. Everyone knows what happened. He has benefited so much from what happened, and he's not punished by YouTube initially. He initially released a public statement of an apology for that video, which I actually had the audacity to watch before it was taken down. The original video on his channel. It is, in my opinion, horrible and appalling. There should be no excuse for it. Even a public apology is fine, but then he goes up to disrespect the corpse itself, and then in a few moments later he's seen in that video joking about it. That's not right. Now I understand why he was joking about it. If you go into the mind of a human, we develop ways. He couldn't believe what he just saw, right? So he developed a way to cope with it in that moment, and that was by making jokes, which is fine. I get that. But what happened afterwards was his apology. That's the thing I hate, where he congratulates himself for making the video and disrespecting a corpse, all under the false claims of raising awareness for suicide. How do you feel about that, Matthew? Because I realize I'm doing all the talking here.
Well, I never watched the video. I literally, I see it's on recommended video or whatever. I just ignore it.
It's been taken down now.
So I've never watched one video of it. So I knew what happened. I knew it was, I knew what he did and all
to be
that.
totally honest,
But I haven't got enough. I don't think I've got enough viewing of his videos to understand of his what he did. Well, I knew what he did, but I mean,
for me, I'm
not in the more. You're more in the know. If that's anything, you're more in the know because you watched.
I'm not. I was never a fan of his, right? I never until you told me about a YouTuber called Jake Paul who made a video about it, who found a body in a fire and posted a video about it. When you sent that message on Craig's Discord initially. That's when you heard about it. That's the first time I ever heard of a YouTuber named Jake Paul. And, it's getting into the stuff. I'm not trying to stir up drama and all that. Jake Paul can do what he wants, and I'm glad he's not trying to make it right. I don't think it's ever possible to make it right. Because what happened. You can't make that possible, and people shouldn't defend him with their lives. What I think should happen now is he should acknowledge what he did was wrong. And he has. But he should actually legitimately make a proper apology, because even all his apology videos are just congratulating. You can see that he's congratulating himself in them, of the way he speaks. He's congratulating himself for making the video, and he a normal person, right? Would you, Matthew? Would you ever? If this happened to you and you filmed it, would you ever post the video on the internet?
No, I wouldn't.
So clearly, he did it. He doesn't care. He did it as a publicity stunt. He deliberately went into the suicide forest in Japan, hoping to find a body, and he even said they're looking for dead bodies in the video. And one thing you're not allowed to film in the Japanese forest, they broke the law by doing that. And he deliberately went there and he said and he got lucky enough to find a body somewhere in the forest. And then realized how much drama this was going to make, to the point of where everyone knows who he is now. He's going to make millions off this, and he has. And now what is he doing? An easy fix. He is making very, very well edited videos about suicide awareness, of him traveling all over the world to meet with people. He met with some guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge in Chicago many years ago, and actually survived the fall, and what it was like the moment he jumped from when he tried to commit suicide off the bridge, what it was like for him, what he realized in that moment, and a lot of his fans are congratulating him for that. And you can't make it right, can you? Do you think you can make it right? I don't.
No. It's gonna, if he makes it right, if he ever does, it'll have to be a long, long way in the future when loads of things have happened, where he's really gone into the whole suicide awareness and all that.
I mean,
but even then, you probably won't do that.
The thing that really gets it for me about him is he is using this event. Sure, I can get he made a mistake by uploading the video. He should never have done that. And then, if he immediately stopped mentioning it at all, like when PewDiePie said that discrimination word a while ago, that got him into a little bit of trouble. The N word. I won't say it here. Even though it's in South Africa, that word means absolutely nothing. We have a different word. We call it the K word. That's used to describe which I'm also not going to say because it's a real horrible word to say. So it means nothing. I can say it, and literally no one in South Africa would care. No black person in South Africa would care because it means nothing to us here. In America they would have a shit show, but not here. And he said the N-word, right, on a stream But he never said it to anyone. He said it about a situation. And there's a difference between swearing to someone, swearing about someone behind their back, and swearing about a situation, right? There's a difference. He said that word in a about a situation. Now the word does not necessarily make it right, but he did the right thing. He immediately issued a very sincere, in my opinion, public apology, demonetized the video, and never mentioned it again. Obviously, Logan Paul's issue is much worse than that, considering he desecrated a corpse. He desecrated a corpse, even holding its hand in the video, I believe, which is horrible. But he should have issued his public apology. He should have made it very sincere from the first one, not on the third try, and should have never have mentioned it after that. That would have made the situation so much better for me, because that means he was probably deliberately sorry instead of now trying to mooch off that fame that it's given him. Also, I think Baron's video has just been released.
Yes, it has. It's been released
8 minutes ago. 6 views. Perfect. Excellent. So if you guys want to go watch that video, it's just been released for us, the 9th of February. But, you know, I'm going to change the subject now. I think we've spoken enough about Logan Paul. All the best to him in trying to fix his publicity at this point. Yeah, I guess. Let's go to a little bit of lighter YouTubers. That I found 2 YouTubers recently. Well, one of them I actually found through the Yogscast, and I think he's fantastic. Joe Raper. You know him?
Yes, I do. I'm actually subscribed to his channel.
Makes some great music. Fantastic guy, I think. When the Yogscast criticized him for being Raper and told him he should become a rapper, he made a very funny video about it, in my opinion. It was very funny.
Yeah, he did.
Go and subscribe to him as well. There'll be a link for his video in the description below if you're not subscribed to him. The 15 people that are subscribed to us. I mean, one of them is me, one of them is you, and one is Baron, so technically it's 12. So, but you know, baby steps, as they say. He makes some great music videos. I think he makes some cool songs. Lately he's been doing what I think is great for getting his name out there. He's been making a few videos about the Yogscast.
He's been
he did
doing
he did Shin 1 and 2. I think he's also done a third one now. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think he hasn't, but he might easily though, because there's a lot of Shin clips to actually do. I mean,
Shin is just a character, isn't he?
The best troll on the internet, in my opinion.
Best troll 2018.
I think he's better troll than Hatfield, and that's saying something.
That says a lot.
He's what
I think he does it subconsciously as well.
To me.
He does it subconsciously as well. He doesn't know he's doing it. You can see that. He has no idea he's doing it. He just does it. And then makes
you actually
makes it so much better, doesn't it? Because it makes it so much more funny. If he did it deliberately.
Yeah, his defining moment for me is when they were playing Civ 5 in the 2017 Jingle Jam, and they just booted up the game. And because they were playing with a mod called No Quitters, it had NQ mod version 1.2.5.
Remember it down to the detail,
and he went 1.2.3, and everyone's faces were just shocked when they realised it, and I said, "Oh, I'm just joking," and it was just
typing in the chat there. The previous version before that, even though a little bit further up you could see his name with the correct version in the video. It's classic.
The
it's
troll
something
was
that I think
perfectly
is
timed.
Classic Shin, right there.
Yeah.
We're fanboying out really
it's
hard,
Shin,
aren't we?
Shin.
This podcast has really come us fanboying about the Yogscast, isn't it? Oh well, it's fine. You know?
We just like our videos on YouTube, and Yogscast happen to make the best.
And then there's also probably the greatest channel on the internet, in my opinion, greater than PewDiePie.
6,000 years of history.
No. Greater than us. We're fantastic. Have you go watch Baron's video. The quality, the picture quality on that is fantastic. HD resolution, 4K. You'll never see a better video than resolution on that. People are gonna actually believe me, aren't they? Because it's no offense, Baron, but it happens. With something we'll have to improve.
It was just a little mistake. It was more my fault because I never linked anybody.
See, he had to work with what he had.
1080p logo that I made.
1080p video for this video. Just to tell you now, in the middle of making it, so I can do it for the next podcast. But
yeah,
it's fantastic. It's really fantastic.
But yeah, this channel, I think you should describe it because you're the one who found it.
This channel makes reviews about toilets. What he does, the channel is called John Toilet, right? I was just browsing into it the other day.
Yeah.
I just saw like toilet review. I don't know what I was browsing, but I was browsing.
You browsed some dark stuff.
I entered into the weird part of YouTube, and I found
the dark side of YouTube. I tell you, you entered the dark side of YouTube for a second.
I found the greatest channel in existence. A man with 1,000 or so videos, I think, making reviews about different toilets. He goes into a public bathroom, or just any old bathroom, all over the country, wherever he stays. And
I think it's American because he always has American made on his toilets.
And he just goes and he finds the label on the toilet, takes a close-up shot of that, takes a panning kind of view to the shot if he can, if it's not in a stall and stuff like that. Like he did a video on like a toilet from 1929 in a toilet museum, I think, which is scary to think that kind of stuff exists, but it exists. And then he goes and he flushes the toilet, and that's the end of the video. That's it. It's fun. It's
unique. It's
so
unique.
Original, isn't it? It's genius.
It is.
I mean, if you want,
is.
I mean, in comparison, you think we're making original content, right? But then again, you get history channels out there. There's a few of them. Alternate History Club, Hub, Simple History. I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
I know Sweebeen or however you pronounce that word. I really don't know how. And you've got multiple others that I know
but
of.
compared to like gaming channels or vlog channels and news channels, there aren't a lot of history channels, so it still makes it at least very popular ones. So it still makes it. Civic History is also another. I believe they're called. I'll post
feature history as well.
And the Great War. The Great War. Very good. If you want to find stuff about World War One, go watch The Great War. It's amazing. Shout out to you. What was his name? I can never remember the host's name. It doesn't matter.
No, I can't either.
It doesn't matter. Shout out to you, 6,000.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry, no. Shout out to you, the Great War crew. You guys are great. I love your videos. Watch them every single day, every single time I get a chance to. And this guy does something so I don't think there's ever been, or there ever will be, another channel on YouTube that reviews toilets, right? It's just so...
And it's not a popular subject.
It's so original that it cannot be duplicated. When I found this, the sheer excitement that just overwhelmed me when I found this. I can't describe it to you. It was just so nice to see something so original on YouTube for once. PewDiePie makes a lot of jokes about how unoriginal, like rips off a bunch of other YouTubers. He's got like an inside joke with Jack's Films at the moment, Luai and Yai, right? And like it's actually kind of people from his channel actually went to go and said to Jack's Films without going to check Jack's Films series history, which is much older than PewDiePie's Lawai history, saying that that he copied him even though it was a joke that he made in one of his videos. But that's what PewDiePie's doing right now, and it's unique, definitely, but not as original as toilet reviews. I mean, obviously, he doesn't have a massive following because how many people want to watch like an 8 to 7 second video of a man reviewing a toilet? But I mean, who really cares in the end? But I just love it because it's so original. It's nice to see something like that on the internet, isn't it? It really is.
It very much is.
It really is.
It's refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like after you use a toilet in real life, you feel so relieved. Afterwards.
Yeah.
This video got weird. This podcast got weird, didn't it?
I think it did.
But
yeah, that channel, it's up there for one of the most unique channels out there in my mind.
Definitely. So that's.
I actually can't think of any more unique channels that are.
Yeah, true.
Well, unique
there
now.
aren't that many. There aren't that many. You're certainly not a unique channel. There's lots of us out there that make history videos.
Yeah.
But that's more or less like everything that I really had to talk about. You wanted to speak about the
Pyeongchang Olympics, yes.
Winter Olympics in South Korea. Were open
Yeah, so
today.
they, as of recording, so this is probably going to go up on the. Let me just check. This is going up on the 16th of February. We're recording this on the 9th of February. Some of you might have figured that out because we talked about Baron's first video coming out.
And how fantastic
and that
it
was,
is.
of course, released today on the 9th.
Picture quality it is.
But yes, a Pyeongchang Olympics began. It was the opening ceremony.
It was the first time African teams.
I'm a big fan of sport. I especially love winter sport. I absolutely love watching ski jumping, which is a dangerous sport in itself. But I've always wanted to try it. I probably fall on my leg and break it though, but still, I've always wanted to try it.
I mean, you'd get better with practice though.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's one of the hardest sports to learn, I think. It probably is that and bobsleigh because they're so dangerous in a way.
Jamaican bobsledding team. Remember when they came, when they were when they were introduced, how they became like a joke on the internet for a bit, because it was funny. The Jamaican bobsledding team, they're an island in the Caribbean. Where the heck do they practice? Yeah. And now this year,
I really like that movie Cool Runnings that they did about it. It's one of my favourite films, actually. I really enjoyed that film, but yeah, it's the Olympics, so everyone's in a festive mood for the Olympics.
It's not the big Olympics. It's the Winter Olympics.
It's the winter. Yes, it's not as big as the Summer Olympics. But it takes part in all the winter sports that happen during the winter.
Shocker, isn't it?
Mostly in snow.
Isn't it?
But it's quite iconic because it's happened a couple of times before. I think the last time it happened was like 20 odd years ago. I might easily be wrong, but I think it's about that.
They take place on a regular basis.
South Korea and North Korea have joined together. Have joined together to create their own team.
This is the first time it's actually ever happened.
I thought it's happened before.
It's the first time.
Well, at least in summer games, I think
it's the first time it's ever happened where North Korea and South Korea have come together to make a team to compete.
They were doing that. The flag of the country, the whole Korean country, is the picture of the Korean Peninsula.
Which I think,
and it's just so iconic that they did that. I noticed. I've already noticed on Twitter, actually, is that and there was someone dressed up as Donald Trump and someone dressed up as Kim Jong Un at the Olympic ceremony, and they had to be taken out of the area by the police.
Are you sure the man dressed up
by the
as
security
Kim Jong-un was
guards.
not Kim Jong-un himself? Was Kim Jong-un...
It wasn't actually him, because it was right by Donald Trump. It wasn't
Kim
him.
Jong-un...
But they just did it, and they got into trouble. But that's a funny side of it. But yeah, they had the sister of Kim Jong Un was there with the president of
Kim
South
Jong-un wasn't there
Korea.
himself?
Quite an iconic moment.
So Kim Jong-un wasn't there himself?
He wasn't there himself, no, but his sister was.
Ah, his sister.
So it's a step in the right direction either way.
It's very big news. I mean, how many years has it been? More than 50 years now, isn't it? 70 years or so? The Korean War took place? 1953?
The Korean War took in the
1950
late
to 1953.
50s.
1950 to 1953 it took place.
Yeah.
Technically it's still going on. They never signed a peace treaty, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. And it's the same thing with Israel and Palestine. There's every country follows, and also with China and Taiwan, they're following let me rephrase that. In Palestine and Israel, they're following something called a two-state solution, meaning Palestine should be an independent country and Israel should be an independent country to fix the problems there. There are still issues with that of who gets what, really, because they both which country gets what, especially with the issue regarding Jerusalem, which Donald Trump has recently recognized as the capital of Israel, which is a bold move.
It was previously where Palestine had its headquarters.
It's an international city. So Tel Aviv was the capital of Israel, recognized as the capital of Israel, even though Israel treats Jerusalem as their capital. But technically Tel Aviv is recognized as, and I'm not quite sure what the capital of Palestine is, but they all have a different one. But they also treat Jerusalem as the capital. And and then Donald Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is quite interesting, as it can really mean a lot. I mean, America's always supported Israel. I, for one, support the two-state solution, and I think Jerusalem should definitely. This thing will most likely never be resolved because of Jerusalem itself. Because Jerusalem, both sides have a very strong claim. Both sides have a religious interest in that city. In fact, Christians do as well. There's such a big.
It's a very holy city for many religions.
It's called the Holy City for a reason. I mean, this apart from Buddhism and I can't remember the name of it now, but it doesn't matter.
Shintoism.
And there's a lot of other.
Was it that?
No, not Shintoism. The one that's in India with Hinduism. Thank you. That's it. Sorry, people who follow Hinduism. I couldn't remember the name of your religion for a minute there, but it's for the big ones. It's Islam, Christianity, and I guess technically Judaism is not a big one, but for terms of Islamic people who follow the Islam religion and people who follow Christianity, it is a very big one because they both were created from Judaism. Even the Bible says they do. Isaac's descendant Muhammad founded Islam, and his other son. No. Isaac was the guy. Jesus was the descendant of Isaac, and then there was another one, his firstborn son, who founded Islam. Who founded Islam. So technically, they're the same religion, which is interesting.
Yeah.
To read about. You can read about it in your own time.
It's a family of religions.
Yeah.
You could say.
Very interconnected. But back to Korea. What's unique about this is there've always been this recognition for unity between the countries. And there have always been talks about having. And remember, when was it? Kim Jong-un tried to open talks about potential signing of a peace treaty between the two nations, and there was also, I think, talk about a potential, what's the word? A potential unification during that time as well, but those fell through in the end. And this is another very big step. What I'm really interested to see is, I mean, imagine North and South Korea when they unite. How different it's going to be for the two sides.
Yeah. It'd be such a
the
big
North
thing
Koreans,
in world
it'd be
history,
such a shocker
wouldn't
to
it?
see what the world is like. So the South Koreans, I don't really know.
It'd be quite. Yeah, it'd be.
I mean,
you know, it's a time we want to see in our lifetime. That's for
I
sure.
hope to see it.
Same with the whole Palestine Israel thing. We want to see that in our lifetime.
I doubt
but
we
both
will.
might not be possible.
I doubt we'll ever see the Israel-Palestine thing. Also with Taiwan and China. Personally, I think Taiwan should just be recognized as an international country. Even though my country is very, very closely tied with China, South Africa. That's my personal belief, and I'm allowed to have it. And you can argue with me, I'm not changing my belief at all. I think Taiwan should be an independent country, and mainland China should be an independent country. The only reason is the Taiwanese government and the Communist Party of China once fought a civil war against each other for the whole control of China, and at the end of that war, the nationalists who ruled Taiwan fled to Taiwan. The remaining of them, that's history. So they hate each other, and one side doesn't recognize the other, but most countries now recognize mainland China as the true representative of China. But the thing is, the United States still heavily protects the Taiwanese. Their Navy patrols the straits between them, even today, currently as we're speaking. That's basically all I really have to say about that. I think we're running out of time right now, in fact. We spoke about a lot today.
Yeah, we've recorded about an hour. That's good enough, isn't it?
That's more than what I was wanting. That's very...
I was thinking we'd aim for like 30-40 minutes, so we've already doubled it.
And I think this is a good, nice, long video for people to watch, listen to our different opinions, and us just talk crap about this stuff. But thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. We understand it's not going to be the best. I know it's not going to be the best edited. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear my fan in the background like you could with my other video that I made.
And also my video, I'm having problems with my mic.
I mean,
it's making a weird buzzing noise. If you ever hear that in this video, you know I wasn't able to fix it in the audio.
It's fine. We're still learning this game and all that. But thank you guys so much for...
Yeah, the whole YouTube game.
Yes, but thank you so much, guys, for... audience, for watching this video.
Or listening.
Or in this case, listening, because this podcast is not going to be really anything visual to show here. It's just... It means a lot to us that you guys watch our videos and we'd like more comments, a lot more comments from you guys, and please subscribe to us, because... You know, it's a nice feeling. We have 15 subscribers at the moment. It's a nice feeling to see that people have an interest in what you do. Don't you think?
Yes, it is. It's very rewarding. Very rewarding.
Just a view on your video that's not yours is fantastic.
Yeah.
But anyway, we
should
it's a good
sign. We're going in the right direction, but yeah.
We should really wrap up now. I don't really know how to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching.
I said that was the news.
I think we said that at the same time.
We did.
But yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.